Hi guys, in this video we're going to talk about graphs of linear equations using the TI-84 calculator. This is what we know about the graphs of linear equations. All x, y solutions or all ordered pair solutions form a straight line. The point where the line crosses the x-axis is called the x-intercept, and the point where the line crosses the y-axis is called the y-intercept. Okay, let's solve this problem now. We have graph the following linear equation, fill in the following table, and identify both intercepts. So I'm going to use the TI-84 calculator to help me graph this line and identify both intercepts. First thing, to be able to put this equation in the calculator, I have to have it in the slope y-intercept form. That's why I'm going to have to take away 10 from both sides. I'm going to end up with 5y equals 15x minus 10. Now I need to divide by 5 to isolate the y. And I'm going to end up with y equals 15 divided by 5, which is 3x, and 10 divided by 5, which is 2. So the equation in the slope y-intercept form is y equals 3x minus 2. Now, I need to graph this linear equation on the grid, and after that, identify both intercepts. For that reason, I'm going to use my calculator. In the calculator, I'm going to go to y equals, and in y equals, I'm going to put my equation 3x minus 2, and I'm going to graph my line. So let's hit the graph button, and you'll see that the calculator graphed the line. Now, to be able to graph this line on our grid, we need to look at the table. So I'm going to hit the second button and then graph to get to the table. Now, the values that I have on my table here starts with -2. So to be able to find the right value, I'm going to have to go to x equals -2. So the value when x equal to -2 is, as you can see here, -8. And then for -1, it's -5. And then for 0, it's -2. For 1 is 1, and for 2 is 4. And I'm going to put these values. So for -2, it's -8. For -1, -5. For 0, it's -2. For 1, it's 1. And for 2 is 4. So I'm going to graph these points now on the grid. I have -2, -8. So on the grid, I'm going to do -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, -8, which is right here. And then -1, -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 0, 2, or 0, -2, which is right here. And then we have 1, 1. And then we have 2, 4. So basically, I have a line here that I can graph between these values. I'm going to start here. I'm going to go all the way up here. And this is how I graph the line on my grid. Now let's find the x and the y intercepts. Let's start with the y intercept. We have three ways of finding the y-intercept and the x-intercept. The first way is by looking at the graph. Simply by looking at the graph, we can identify what the y-intercept is if it was easy to read, which is in this case, -2. Now, the second way is by looking at the table. So if I hit second graph to look at the table and find out what the value is for x when x equal to 0, the y value is -2, and that's the y-intercept. The third way is by asking the calculator itself to find the y-intercept by hitting the second button, trace, and then press 1 or enter for value, and then just asking the calculator to find the y value when x equals 0. And in this calculator, in this way, the calculator is going to tell us that the y-intercept is -2. So it's obvious using the three different ways that the y-intercept for this line is -2. Y-intercept is -2 or 0 -2. Now let's find the x-intercept. So again, we're going to use our three ways to find the x-intercept. Looking at the graph, it's not so easy to find what the x-intercept is. It's not so clear. So this method is not going to help us to find the x-intercept. We need to look at the table next. And looking at the table, I don't see any x value that has a y value of 0. So again, the table is not going to help us to identify the x-intercept, but we can ask the calculator to calculate to us the x-intercept by doing second trace calculate, but this time we're gonna press 2 for 0. And when we press 2, the calculator is gonna ask us to identify the left side of what we think is the x-intercept. So I'm going to get closer to the x-intercept, but I'm going to stay at the left side, and this is the left side. And then the calculator is going to ask me to identify the right side of what I think is the x-intercept. So I'm going to move my arrow to the right and hit anywhere to the right of the x-intercept and hit enter. Now, my x-intercept, which is right here, is supposed to be between these two arrows. And once my x-intercept is in between these two arrows, I can hit enter and the calculator can give me the right value for the x-intercept, which is 0.66 repeating, which is 2/3. So in this case, the x-intercept for this line is going to be 2/3 or 2/30.